I appreciate the opportunity to make a few remarks. I represent NoHomeTax.org, who is a coalition of middle and low-income people, not the very wealthy. We had very few wealthy people contributing to our campaign. Many of them was like $5 to $8 to $10, $15, $20, $100. We are volunteers, and we received no pay. I took about 14 months off of my business. I'm a real estate broker, and I didn't make a real estate deal for the entire time. I paid all my expenses, including the secretary and office expenses. Our contributions were minimal, and we were accused of trying to get tax relief for the wealthy, very wealthy. Well, that is far from the truth. The statistics that we got from your Budget and Control Board showed that only 10% of the resident homeowners in South Carolina make over $100,000 a year, and 60% make less than $50,000 a year. And that's not all 50. That goes all the way down to 5 or 10,000. And there are 1,027 families who make less than $15,000 a year that live in million-dollar homes. Now, how are they going to pay these high taxes? Many of them have gone up 300% and 400% just in the last 7 to 8 years. And it's just not realistic. Now, the bill that you all passed, and by the way, the House, and I want to thank all of you, you passed almost what we wanted within less than 2 months. But the Senate was where we had the problem. And the bill was revenue neutral. Now, 21 school boards and counties, as we've heard, have artificially increased their budgets and millage. And government has just gotten overburdened, overfed, and arrogant. Now, to give you an example, I was giving a presentation over on Johns Island to a group of property owners. There were about 50 people there. And when I got through, I talked for an hour. When I got through, one guy that was at the College of Charleston was against it, but we overcame that. And then I had a lady raise her hand and says, "Mr. Read, I and my husband are on the school board." And I thought, oh, shucks. But she says, "You are right. This last year, the director authorized destroying more than 1,000 new computers that weren't even a year old, and they drilled them so no one else could use them." And then her husband put his hand up and said, "And also, Mr. Read, I saw a $35,000 check from the school board to the local Chamber of Commerce to fight you." Now, down there, the director has got the authority to sign checks up to $50,000 with no accountability. And the only way she has to account is if there's a supermajority vote on the board and they didn't have it. Now, this bill that we are considering, H 3615, will roll back what the counties and school boards have been doing. There was a tax rebellion in Tennessee a few years ago, and you can go in and look at their site and you'll be amazed what you saw. But they were trying to pass an income tax, and over 1,000 cars showed up honking their horns, driving around the Capitol, and 5,000 people walked in and were roaming around the grounds. They killed the bill when the governor, the Senate President pro tem, the Speaker of the House, and the Treasurer all were in favor of this. See, they don't have an income tax. But it got defeated, and one of the leaders ran for county council and immediately got elected chairman, and he cut the budget 50%, and they've got better schools and better government. There's too much waste. Now, the way I feel, and I've done a little study in here, 75 to 85% of the school funds should go into the classroom, and they need to cut down on the executives, and we may have better schools. And they need to work on discipline too. I know I was a rascal when I was a little boy, and I used to get paddled. In fact, I was so bad one day the teacher made me take down my pants and used a paddle on me in front of the class. None of that's happening now. We don't have as good citizens because of it. But if this bill doesn't pass, there's going to be severe damage to the taxpayers. And remember, there were over 700,000 people that voted for the constitutional amendment to support the bill that you all passed last year. Now, just in the 5 in the committee, there's 195,000 people voted for the constitutional amendment in the counties of Adam Taylor, Gilda Cobb, Shirley Hinson, Roland Smith, and Harry Ott. Now, I urge you to pass this bill out to the floor and let's get going. It's necessary, and we're going to have another revolt if it doesn't pass. Taxes are too high now, even with what you all passed last year. We've still got people that are selling their homes now because even at half, they can't pay the taxes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Read.